Welcome back to Highly Successful Couples, the podcast that helps couples grow together instead of growing apart. I'm your host, Nick Solacek, and today we're going to talk about whether you are responsible for healing your partner's childhood, whether you need to make a better effort, whether you need to change your identity and become a different person, whether you need to submit your values and ideals to help heal your partner. And if you get into conversations with your partner where they want something from you that's difficult for you to give, they want something from you that seems impossible, then listen to today's show. I hear this a lot, my partner wants me to do this. They want me to show up in this way. They don't feel like they're made a priority. They don't feel important. They feel controlled by me. They feel smothered. And there are some people that might say, you are not responsible for your partner's inner work. You are not responsible for healing their childhood wounds. And I partly agree with this, that we are not 100% responsible, that all of us as individuals need to learn how to work with what comes up, take responsibility for our reality, our own hurts and fears and insecurity, take ownership of our projections of our parents, and the way that we fear that our own partner might show up in a way like one of our parents did. We need to wake up to the fact that we're no longer at home with mom and dad. But at the same time, we are responsible. We are responsible for showing up for each other, being allies in each other's healing and growth. And what I notice is that there's a lot of resistance, obviously, in relationships and in all of us to change, to adjust, to, do things a little bit differently. And it makes sense that we've got that resistance. Partially that's driven by some of our characterological features. We've talked about minimizing and maximizing on this show, how one person is a little bit more rigid, stubborn, inflexible, withdrawn. And one person can come off as a little bit anxious and needy and leaning in and being a little bit more demanding or manipulative. And there's always one person in a relationship who can be slightly more manipulative than another. Like there's a great meme going around on the internet where there's a young girl who's kicking ground saying, oh, I wish I could have that. I wish I could get this. And there's a slightly kind of manipulative angle there, which is this passive sentiment saying, I would really love this. I wish I could have it, and making a cute face. And this is not it's not a commentary about people who are deeply narcissistic. It's just that, hey, like some of us do have these passive or indirect strategies to try to get our needs met. And that can be a little bit manipulative, and that there are varying extremes to these kinds of qualities. But what I really want to talk about today is that you are partially responsible. Both people are responsible for being allies, for helping each other heal. And that will require us to stretch in certain moments. That will require us to be more open-minded, more curious. Not that I'm going to change completely who I am, become a different person, convert to a new religion. I'm going to give up my friends and my lifestyle and the things that I love. But that, my partner, they don't feel like they're a priority. And when I hear that, I just immediately get defensive. And I, and get more entrenched in my position, and I push back and I tell them all the ways that that's not true, right? So just in this example, we don't have understanding, we don't have empathy. And when our partner says something to us that, you don't do this for me, I don't feel this way that I want to feel, you don't love me in the way that I want you to love me, it's very easy to take that personally and to make it all about us and to react in a defensive or offensive way. Essentially, just this protective response comes online. And if we are going to help each other heal, we need to learn how to manage these protective responses. We need to learn how to create corrective emotional experiences to give our partner what they wanted and needed the most now as an adult. And as we've discussed before, that is often hard to do because we are attracted to someone who is opposite in certain ways, different in certain ways. We've got this opposites attract dynamic. The person who is more logical is with the one who is more emotional. The person who is more independent is with the one who can be a little bit more needy, right? The one who leans in mostly is with the one who maybe leans out mostly. The overfunctioner is with the underfunctioner. And there are many paradoxes like this that we could go on and on about. But what I really want you to get is that you are a little bit responsible. You are responsible for showing up in a way that can help your partner heal. Sometimes we need a little bit of support. We need a hand on our back. We need someone to remind us, hey, you are important to me and you are loved. And I didn't realize that you sometimes don't feel that way. And can you tell me more about that? Tell me what it would feel like for you to be a priority. What would that look like? And that doesn't mean specifically, you have to do this, you have to do this, but just tell me about the quality of the feeling. Tell me about what's important to you. And maybe give me some options. Give me option 1, 2, and 3 in terms of one thing I could do this week that would make you feel like more of a priority. And we need to be able to have these conversations instead of saying, well, this is entirely your stuff. This has nothing to do with me. You didn't feel like you were a priority as a child, and now you're putting all that weight on me. And, that's just not my job. Well, it is actually partly your job, because this thing called relationship is a we dynamic. It is the two of us holding hands. It is, we're in this together. And we need to have a relationship to self. We know ourselves. We can actually sense what's coming up in our body. We're able to label our emotions. We have a relationship with our voice that we're able to express what we're noticing without turning everything into a big chaotic fight. We need to be able to talk about our experience in a way that increases the chances our partner can hear us, to invite them closer, because all of this stuff is always invoking a response. The ways that we express, the ways that we show up, it's always inviting or disinviting something. It's always inspiring some kind of response. Like when you're negative, when you get critical, when you shame, blame, what does that inspire? What does that invoke? Usually some kind of negative response back. When you say, I'm appreciative of you, I love you, thank you so much for this, with sincerity, what does that inspire, right? What is that? What is the response generally? If someone's really hurt, if they're really in pain, it might not matter what you say because they're just stuck in that state. And when we're stressed, hurt, in pain, we really quickly go into our protective strategies and we lose sense of other people around us. We are completely self-absorbed. So when we've got these challenges in our relationships, when our partner's saying, I'm hurting, you don't do this for me, I want you to do this for me, we need to remember that that's coming from a place of them being in pain, and that maybe there's something there we could attend to. There's nurturing, there's caring, there's some kind of a quality of attunement that is possible. Now, this doesn't mean that you are 100% responsible for meeting all your partner's needs, just that you are partly responsible. What would it be like if two people said, hey, I want to be the kind of person you can depend on. I want to show up for you in a way that you love and you appreciate. What if we did this for each other as a sacred exchange, or just as a clear agreement? That the two of us, we want to show up as responsible, willing, capable adults. And we want to make this relationship as great as it can be. Many people get stuck in these defensive, offensive positions. They get stuck on either side of an issue. And whether that's something about parenting or where we should live or how we should spend our money, we get entrenched in our specific perspectives. And the main thing that happens here is we make each other wrong. You're wrong, I'm right. Your way is not the right way. Actually, my way is the right way. And I want to be together with you and I want to be one, but I'm the one and you need to listen to me, and you need to dress how I want you to dress, speak how I want you to speak, think how I want you to think. And that's really not a healthy, empowered version of relationship. So, what we need to understand here is that real love is difficult. Conscious relationship is going to take effort from us. It's not going to always be easy 24/7 because there's things that come up. We got this power struggle energy that we've talked about many times on this show before. This difference creating danger, our brain coding difference as danger. If you want something different than me, whoa, okay, anxiety, panic, maybe we need to fight about this, we need to talk about this, or maybe we need to sweep this under the rug, deny that this is going on at all. Those are the kind of two main patterns that couples get stuck in. And there is a consensus in the psychology community that we do come into our adult relationships expecting our partner to show up for us in a way that one of or both of our parents never could. Our partner doesn't know anything about that. And then we fight about it. We fight about not getting our needs met. And time again, every couple that I meet, the pattern is that we're just not very good at getting our needs met. We're not very good at expressing clearly what we need in positive terms because of our negativity bias. It's very difficult sometimes to ask for what we need clearly because that's also kind of vulnerable. If we tell the truth about what we need, then what if they don't want to give it to us? What if they reject us? What if they say no? That's almost more painful than just coping with the situation and walking on eggshells or not talking about it. So the dynamic is complicated, and there isn't necessarily a easy one-step quick fix for all couples. But the general quality here and the direction that I would encourage you to move in is one of understanding over agreement. That I understand more about what it's like for you to walk in your shoes, to be who you are, that I go deep down into this portal of understanding before I try to seek any kind of agreement, that I make the moment all about you, to listen to you, to hear you out before I jump into my rebuttal, my response, my refinement of what I think is true. But really that I just actually want to sense more about you, what it's like to be you, without taking it personally, without making it all about me. And in our episode on mastery of listening, of sharing and receiving, we talked a little bit about this. So, this sentiment might ruffle some feathers, might get me into trouble in some way, saying that you are responsible for your partner's healing. And we are, our partner is a burden to us, and you are a pain in the ass, just like you perceive them to be. And things are not always clear for us. We don't see our partner clearly because of the projection of our parents in the way that the way that we filter reality has multiple lenses to it. Our psyche has a lot of information stored in there. So we are filtering our reality, our partner, our experience of life through our own belief systems, through the lens of our childhood, through our own fears and insecurities. And there's a myriad of different things that are going on that really create this image of our partner. And it's often not an accurate image. So we have an opportunity to re-image each other, to see each other more fully, more clearly by seeking understanding, by turning the empathy way up, by learning things about our partner and getting context to their pain, their hurt, their stress that maybe we don't have because we didn't grow up together. We didn't grow up in the same household, right? We weren't there. And we are missing key information. We are missing key data. And that's what we need to get more curious about when our partner doesn't make any sense to us. When they say something like, you don't love me, I'm not a priority to you, you don't make me feel important. Oh, okay. I didn't realize you felt that way. Can you tell me more about that? Because I don't want to make you feel that way. I didn't realize I was making you feel that way. What would it be like to just kind of hang in there for a moment and hear what they've got to say? We both need to have awareness about what is driving the conflict in our relationship. what is driving the stress and the disagreement? And part of that story, the main part of that story is childhood, that, the power struggle energy, this like, we don't get each other. You're different than me. You never do this. You always do that. That kind of challenge, conflict, butting heads is, in my view, 100% driven by energy from the past. There's something from the past driving our reactivity today. So we are responsible for ourselves. We do have a responsibility to work on ourselves, take care of ourselves, stand up for ourselves, and also that we've got our partners back as well. That doesn't mean 24/7 all the time. We do everything for them. We have to carry all of their emotional weight or burden, but that some of it's going to be there. That to be in a relationship, a committed monogamous partnership, is going to require us sometimes to make certain sacrifices. It's going to require us to negotiate the terms of certain situations or make a small compromise here and there. That doesn't mean abandoning who we are or our values or what's important. It means making some adjustments. It means willing to be flexible, willing to stretch moment to moment. If you're going to take this on, the two things that are really, really important here are understanding and empathy. So think more about that day to day, increasing the understanding, increasing the empathy, sensing what your partner's going through. Because I have moments with my partner where she might be stressed or upset about something, might be completely unrelated to me, but the energy might get directed at me in a certain way. And then it might ask, oh, hey, what's going on? Or I didn't realize you were upset, or something doesn't make sense to me. Can you tell me more? Well, now I get an opportunity to hear more about what's going on in her world, what's happening in her reality. And that connects me more to what is really true for her, whether she is angry directly at me, she's frustrated with the life circumstances around her, something somebody said to her somewhere, something that did or didn't happen. And that is what I mean by turning the empathy up, because now I'm sensing more about her experience, more about what she's feeling, what she's noticing, what kind of thought track she might be on. And then the reaction or the response or whatever the energy was that was expressed makes a lot more sense, because now I know more about where it's coming from. And I can do that without listening to everything that she says and making it about me, taking it personally, inserting it into my own not good enough story. And this is possible for all of you to take this other track, to take another path here as you navigate the material of your relationship. And we've all got material. We've all got stuff to work on. We've all got things that come up and recurring patterns that can sometimes drive us crazy. So focus on these two things, understanding and empathy. We're going to continue to drive that point home throughout the show, because empathy is one of the main challenges that couples struggle with. They have a loss of empathy. We don't leave childhood with our sense of empathy intact. And as soon as we become hurt, pain, defensive, we immediately become self-absorbed. And when we're there, when we're just focused on us, when we're just focused on our pain, we're disconnected from our partner, and we're not able to sense who they are and what they're experiencing in the way that I'm describing. So that's the main message for today, is that you are partially responsible for your partner's healing. You can be allies in each other's growth and development, and hold hands on the roller coaster of life. So thanks for listening. As always, there's no ads, no sponsors, no wasting your time on this show. And we're a relatively new program, so it would mean the world to me for you to leave a review, a thumbs up, to share the episode. Appreciate all the support. This helps get it in front of people that are interested in this subject of relationships, couples therapy, growing together. And appreciate everything you guys do to support the program. Appreciate you listening. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for being here.